In the early morning, Isabel Carter was wiping down the crystal dining table in the Harris mansion when she saw 5 luxury cars roll up to the gate. She'd been working for the Harrises for 4 months and knew that day would be different. Upstairs, Leonard Harris pointed out the window to his 8-year-old son, Luke. "Son, the 5 women we talked about just arrived. They'll be staying here with us for 30 days. Luke watched the elegant women step out of the cars. "And at the end, I have to choose one to be my new mom. Right, Dad?" "That's right," Leonard said. "They're very well educated, from important families. I'm sure you'll like them." "And if I don't like any of them?" "You will," Leonard said, trying to sound confident. "They can give you a good education, take you to see the world." The crash of breaking glass echoed through the house, followed by a furious shout. "You idiot, Maid! You broke my expensive glass!" Leonard and Luke looked at each other, startled. "What was that, Dad?" "I don't know, son. Let's see what's going on." Father and son hurried downstairs to the living room, a shocking scene. Isabel was on her knees picking up shards, her finger bleeding. A tall brunette with folded arms stared down at her. "That was imported crystal," the woman said coolly. "It cost more than her yearly salary." "I didn't mean to," Isabel murmured without lifting her head. "Didn't mean to?" The woman laughed, sharp and sarcastic. "People like you shouldn't even touch expensive things." "Excuse me, what's going on here?" Leonard cut in. The brunette turned with a practiced smile. "Oh, Leonard, I'm Beatrice Caldwell. I just arrived and your housekeeper already broke my crystal flute." The other 4 women entered, stopped, and stood watching Isabel on the floor. "Wow, what a situation," commented a thin blonde. "Victoria Benton, pleasure." "Accidents happen," Leonard said, trying to smooth things over. "They happen to unrefined people," Victoria shot back, looking straight at Isabel. "A person with polish knows how to handle things." Luke slipped from behind his father and ran to Isabel. "Izzy, are you hurt?" Isabel looked up for the first time. There were tears she was holding back. "It's nothing, sweetheart, just a scratch." Beatrice arched a brow. What is this level of familiarity? Leonard realized he needed to take control. "Since we're all here, let's make proper introductions. This is Isabel, our employee, and you are the candidates." Beatrice stepped forward. "Beatrice Caldwell, old money New York family, degree in international relations." "Victoria Benton, model and influencer. I've lived in Paris," said the blonde. A brunette with glasses spoke next. "Regina Davis, attorney, Columbia Law School." "Cassie Larson, dermatologist," said a redhead. "Park Avenue practice." "Sylvia Matthews, architect," finished the last one. Through all of this, they ignored Isabel as if she were invisible. The housekeeper stood by Luke, still holding the blood-stained cloth. "Very well," Leonard said. "For the next 30 days, you'll be living here. At the end, Luke will choose whom he'd like me to marry." "And the maid?" Beatrice asked. "Is she going to keep working here?" "Of course. Isabel has been with us for 4 months. Victoria exchanged a look with Regina. "We just hope she knows her place." Leonard frowned. "What's that supposed to mean?" "Nothing big," Regina said quickly. "It's just good to keep things orderly, you know? Everyone in their lane." Luke tugged Isabel's hand. "Izzy, come see the drawing I just made." "No, Luke," Cassie cut in. "Your employee needs to clean up the mess she made." "But she's hurt." "I'm fine, sweetheart," Isabel said gently. "I'll clean this up quickly and then see your drawing, okay?" Beatrice watched with narrowed eyes. Interesting, this level of closeness. After lunch, the 5 gathered on the back patio to strategize. Each had brought expensive gifts. I brought an imported tablet, Beatrice said, pulling it from her bag. Latest model with games. I thought about a trip to Disney, Victoria said. I have contacts there. Regina opened a folder. Education is fundamental. I researched the best schools in New York City. Health is non-negotiable, Cassie added. I scheduled a full checkup with top pediatricians. Sylvia showed sketches. I'll redesign his room something more sophisticated. Satisfied with their plans, they looked up as Luke appeared on the patio, shyly. Hi, Luke, sweetheart, Beatrice shouted with an exaggerated smile. Look what I brought. She flashed the tablet. His eyes lit up for a second, then dimmed. Thank you. And how about Disney? Victoria crouched to his height. Would you like that? I guess so. He answered politely, but without enthusiasm. Anyone could see he wasn't having fun. Then Isabel appeared with a tray of juice and cookies. Afternoon snack. Luke's face transformed. A real smile bloomed. Izzy, did you make those cinnamon cookies? I did, sweetheart. And look, she said, pulling colorful paper off the tray. I brought new paper so we can make origami. Really? What colors? Blue, red, yellow, all the ones you asked for. Luke clapped, genuinely excited for the first time. The five watched in silence. The difference was impossible to miss. We can do it after homework, right, Izzy? Will you help me with math? Of course. Victoria cleared her throat. Luke, honey, don't you think you should try more appropriate things, sports, languages? I like origami, Luke replied simply. Regina exchanged a look with the others. That closeness definitely wasn't normal to them. After dinner, Luke asleep and Leonard in his study, the five gathered in the living room. Ladies, we need to talk, Beatrice whispered. About what? Cassie asked, though they all knew. About this embarrassing situation with the help. Sylvia glanced around. Did you see how Luke reacts when she shows up? It's very strange. Agreed, Regina said. An 8-year-old shouldn't have that level of attachment to a housekeeper. Victoria shook her head. It confuses him about who's in charge here. Exactly, Cassie said. From a medical point of view, that's not healthy. Luke needs to understand his place in society. And hers, Beatrice added, cold. Regina pulled a small notepad from her purse. My family always had staff. The rule is clear. Stay in your lane. This Isabel doesn't get that, Victoria said. She acts like she's family. Worse, Sylvia murmured. Beatrice stepped to the window. Let's be realistic. We're here to win Leonard over and to educate Luke properly. How can we do that with a maid getting in the way? What are you suggesting? Cassie asked. That we teach her some lessons in manners. What kind of lessons? Beatrice smiled without warmth. She'll learn the difference between employer and employee, and learn to stay in her place. His office, Leonard tried to work, but couldn't stop thinking about what he'd seen. Something was wrong. He'd known rich people all his life, knew how they treated staff, how they kept up appearances, but the way the five treated Isabel was too much. On the other hand, he couldn't deny what he was seeing with Luke. In the 4 months since Isabel arrived, the boy had changed completely. Before he barely spoke, hardly ate, lived sad. Now he smiled, played seemed like a normal child again. A knock at the door. Dad, can I come in? Of course, son. Luke padded in wearing pajamas, a sheet of paper in his hand. Look what Izzy taught me today. He showed a perfect origami bird. It's beautiful. She's a good teacher, isn't she? She is, and you know the best part? She's patient. When I mess up, she doesn't get mad, she just explains again. Leonard pulled his son onto his lap. Luke, what did you think of the ladies today? The boy thought. They're pretty, Dad, and they brought cool gifts, but Izzy is nicer. Why? Because she's, I don't know, real. Leonard frowned. What do you mean? They act different when you're around and when you're not. Izzy is always the same with me. His son's words left him thinking. Children really knew how to read people. Dad, are you going to fire Izzy? Why would I do that? I don't know. I just got scared. Leonard hugged him tighter. Izzy has worked here for 4 months, and you like her. Why would I fire her? Promise she'll stay? I promise. Luke smiled, relieved, and kissed his father's cheek. Good night, Dad. After Luke left, Leonard sat alone, thinking. He needed to pay closer attention in the coming days. He was certain the peace of that night wouldn't last. Thursday. Isabel came downstairs to start her day and found the 5 women in the living room as if they'd been waiting for her. Good morning, Isabel said. Total silence, as if she were a ghost. Victoria sat on the sofa and spilled sugar on the floor. Oh, clumsy me. Can someone, what's her name again? Can you clean that up? It's Isabel, Regina said, pretending to remember. But it's hard to keep track of service staff names. Isabel grabbed a cloth, but before she could finish, Cassie bumped a plant and spilled soil onto the freshly cleaned rug. Wow, what bad luck. You'll have to clean it all again. At that moment, Luke came running down the stairs. Good morning, everyone. Hi, Izzy. Isabel's face lit up. Good morning, sweetheart. Why is there dirt on the floor? Before Isabel could answer, Beatrice jumped in. Just a little accident, Luke. Your employee will clean it right up. It wasn't an accident, Luke said, staring straight at Cassie. I saw you do it on purpose. A heavy silence. The 5 exchanged looks. Luke, honey, Victoria said, forcing a smile. You must have seen it wrong. I didn't see it wrong. You're being mean to Izzy. Beatrice crouched to his level. Listen, Luke, there are things kids don't understand. We just want your home to be more organized. Organized how? Each person in their place, Regina explained. The housekeeper handles cleaning. Well-bred people take care of you. Luke frowned. But Izzy takes good care of me. She's not qualified for that, Cassie said. Children need guidance from trained people. Izzy is qualified, Luke insisted. Beatrice's voice hardened. You need to learn the difference between staff and family. The boy looked at Isabel, who had stopped cleaning and was listening to all of it. Izzy, are they right? Isabel swallowed tears. Sweetheart, go have breakfast. We'll talk later. But Luke didn't move. I like Izzy more than I like you, he said simply. The 5 women flushed with anger. Monday of the 2nd week. Over the weekend, Leonard had installed discreet cameras. Now he watched everything from his office, and what he saw made his blood boil. On the screen, he saw Sylvia hiding cleaning supplies from Isabel. He saw Regina messing up a bathroom Isabel had just cleaned. He saw Victoria deliberately spilling coffee on the sofa. Isabel, get in here, Beatrice shouted on the screen. Leonard watched Isabel run to the living room and find paint splashed across the marble floor. What is this mess? I didn't do this, Isabel said. Then who did? A ghost? Beatrice sneered. Someone spilled it on purpose. Beatrice laughed, dripping sarcasm. So now you're accusing us? How rude. I just said that. Careful with accusations, dear. An employee can be fired for insubordination. Leonard clenched his fists. He was about to go downstairs, but decided to collect more evidence first. On the screen, Luke appeared. What happened, Izzy? Nothing big, sweetheart. Just an accident. It wasn't an accident, Luke said, looking at the 5. You did it on purpose. Again. Luke, Cassie said, pretending to be shocked. How can you talk like that? Because it's true. You're always being mean to Izzy. Beatrice stepped closer to the boy. Listen carefully, Luke. If you keep taking a maid's side against us, you'll have to choose where you stand. I already chose. I stand with Izzy. Then you chose wrong, Victoria said coldly. Luke started to cry. Isabel rushed to comfort him, but Regina blocked her path. Let him cry, he'll learn. That was it. Leonard couldn't take it anymore. He ran downstairs. What's going on here? In an instant, the five changed their expressions. Oh, Leonard, Beatrice said, smiling. Perfect timing. Luke made a terrible scene. What scene? He accused us of mistreating your employee. Leonard looked at his crying son and at Isabel, with her head down. Luke, come here. The boy ran to his father. Dad, they're being really mean to Izzy. How so? They mess up everything she cleans, hide her things, and tell me I have to pick a side. Leonard turned to the five candidates, their faces uniformly innocent. Is that true? Of course not, Regina said, outraged. Children have such imaginations. But Leonard had watched it all on camera. He knew exactly who was lying. Wednesday, Leonard called the five for a talk. Ladies, let me be clear. Every employee in this house must be treated with respect. Of course, Leonard, Beatrice said sweetly. But respect goes both ways, doesn't it? What do you mean? That your employee also needs to respect us, Victoria explained, and stay in her place. Her place is to care for the home, and she does that well. It's not just that, Cassie said. She interferes in Luke's upbringing. That isn't her role. Luke likes her. What's the problem? Regina stepped forward. Leonard, a child who's lost a mother may develop excessive attachment to any maternal figure who appears. That's not healthy. Are you questioning my judgment as a father? Never, Regina said quickly. I'm only offering professional guidance. And that guidance is to maintain a healthy distance between Luke and household staff. Leonard felt anger rise but held it in. I'll think about what you've said. That afternoon, he personally called Isabel's references. Mrs. Martha, this is Leonard Harris. I wanted to ask about Isabel Carter. Oh, Isabel, she's wonderful. She worked here for years caring for my twins. Never had a problem with her. He called Dr. Charles Miller. Isabel is one of the most honest employees I've ever had. Why do you ask? He called 3 more families. All praised Isabel. Someone is lying, Leonard thought. And it isn't Isabel. That night at dinner, he watched the 5 candidates smiling, polite, asking about his day. How was work today? Beatrice asked. Interesting, Leonard said. I made some calls, checking references. He saw a flicker of nervousness in Regina's eyes. References for employees, it's always good to confirm history, isn't it? Of course, Victoria added quickly. You never know who you're dealing with. But Leonard had seen what he needed to see. Their reactions confirmed his suspicions. Someone was lying, and he would find out who. Friday. Leonard's phone rang during a meeting at the office. Leo, it's your sister, Claudia. Her voice was worried. What's this I'm hearing about you? What story? A famous attorney named Regina Monroe called me. Says you're having problems, that you're losing your head over a housekeeper. Leonard frowned. Who's Regina Monroe? A well-known lawyer, friend of Regina Davis. Now it made sense. Regina was spreading rumors through her network. Claudia, I'm fine. Are you sure? Then why is everyone talking? An hour later, his partner Robert called. Leo, we've got a problem. What problem? Nervous investors. Someone's spreading that you're making questionable decisions that could affect the business. What kind of decisions? Something about an employee, irregular situation. I don't have the details, but they want a meeting. Leonard hung up, irritated. The candidates were attacking his professional reputation. He came home determined to confront them, but saw a scene that stopped him. Luke was crying in Isabel's arms in the garden. "What happened?" Leonard asked. "They said Izzy is going away." Luke sobbed. "Who said that?" "Beatrice told me that a housekeeper who doesn't know her place has to be fired." Leonard looked at Isabel. "Did she say that in front of Luke?" "She did, Mr. Harris. Where are they now?" "In the living room." Leonard walked in, furious. The five were chatting but fell silent when they saw him. "Leonard, how was your day?" Beatrice asked, smiling. "Interesting. I got lots of calls today." "Oh, really?" "People worried about me saying I'm having problems because of a housekeeper." Silence. The five exchanged quick glances. "How strange," Victoria said. "Who would say such a thing?" "Good question," Leonard said, staring at Regina. "Who indeed?" Regina flushed. "I don't know. Maybe just friends with legitimate concern. Or maybe someone spreading lies." "Leonard," Beatrice said, rising, "are you accusing us of something?" "I'm asking if you know anything about these rumors." "Of course not," Cassie said, indignant. But Leonard saw the lies in their eyes, and they saw that he saw. The war was officially declared. Sunday. Leonard was in the garden when a man in a suit appeared. "Mr. Leonard Harris?" "Yes." "Carl Stone, private investigator. I need to talk about your employee, Isabel Carter." "Who hired you?" "Someone concerned about your family." The man held out a folder. "Mr. Harris, your employee is not who she seems to be." Leonard took the document's reports of dismissals for theft, inappropriate behavior with children. "Where did these papers come from?" "Professional investigation, all official." Leonard examined them. Something was off. The dates didn't line up. Some stamps looked fake. "Let me ask you something," Leonard said quietly. "How much did they pay you to fabricate this?" The investigator shifted. "I don't know what you're talking about." "I do. These documents are fake, and I'll find out who hired you." "You're making a mistake." "The mistake was thinking I'd swallow this nonsense." Leonard tore the papers up in front of him. "Tell whoever hired you it didn't work." After the investigator left, Leonard walked into the house. He found the five women waiting, anxious. "Well?" Beatrice asked. "What did the investigator want?" "To try to fool me with forged documents." They all went pale. "Forgery is a crime," Leonard continued. "Whoever did this could go to prison." Regina began to sweat. "Leo, you can't think that we—" "Oh, I can, and I do." Beatrice tried to regain composure. "That's a very serious accusation." "It's a conclusion." Leonard walked to a computer and pulled up camera footage. On screen, Beatrice on the phone in the garden. "Yes, I need a complete dossier on Isabel Carter. Make up problems in her previous jobs. How much? Perfect." The five stared, stunned. "I have everything recorded," Leonard said coolly. "Every cruelty, every lie, every act of sabotage." Beatrice went for a last card. "Leo, we only wanted to protect you and Luke." "Lies. You just wanted to destroy an innocent person." Luke appeared at the door. "Dad, what's happening?" "Nothing big, son. I just discovered who the villains of this story are." The boy looked at the five women. "It's them, right, Dad?" "It's them, Luke." Beatrice seethed. "This won't end here. You'll regret this." But Leonard wasn't afraid anymore. He had the truth, and he would seek justice. Monday, Leonard called Isabel in. "Isabel, I need to apologize." "Apologize? For what, Mr. Harris?" "For doubting you, for not protecting you from those women." Isabel began to cry. "Do you believe me?" "I always did. I just let their lies confuse me. Mr. Harris, I would never hurt Luke. I love that boy." "I know. and he loves you too. Leonard showed her the camera videos. Isabel was shocked seeing all they had done. They did all this, she whispered, and spread lies about you in town. What are you going to do? Expose them publicly. How? Leonard smiled. I have a plan if you'll help me. What do you need? Your trust, and for you to keep being the wonderful person you've always been. For the first time in weeks, Isabel smiled. I trust you. Good, because tomorrow we begin our payback. That night, the 5 candidates gathered in the living room, nervous. He figured it all out, Regina said. Calm down, Beatrice said. We still have cards to play. What cards? Victoria asked. We'll spread that he's lost his mind, that he's obsessed with the housekeeper. We'll destroy his reputation completely. And if it doesn't work? Cassie asked. It will, Beatrice said with a cruel smile, because tomorrow the real war starts. They didn't know Leonard was listening through the cameras, and already had the perfect plan to end them once and for all. Wednesday, after 2 days organizing his counterattack, Leonard was ready. He called the first number on Isabel's list. Hello, Mrs. Martha. It's Leonard Harris. Do you know Isabel Carter? Of course, she's wonderful. Worked here for years with my twins. Why? Just confirming references. Any problems with her? Problems? On the contrary, when she left, the whole family cried. The boys spent weeks asking when Aunt Izzy was coming back. Leonard smiled. And her honesty? Oh dear, that girl is pure gold. Once she found $200 that fell from my purse and ran after me to return it. You don't find integrity like hers easily. He called Dr. Charles Miller. Doctor, do you know Isabel Carter? I do. She worked in my office for over a year. Why? Any issues during that time? None. Exemplary employee. Patients loved her, always polite, always punctual. When she resigned because her grandmother got sick, I even offered a raise to keep her. Leonard called 3 more families. Same story each time. Isabel was honest, caring, hard-working. No one had a single complaint. Someone is lying shamelessly, he thought, and I know exactly who. That afternoon, he called Isabel to his office. Izzy, I need to tell you something. I called all your references. She tensed. And? They all praised you, said you're the best employee they've ever had. Isabel exhaled in relief. Thank you for checking, Mr. Harris. I want to make you a proposal. What kind of proposal? I want you to help me unmask these 5 women publicly. How? I'll throw a party on the last day of the competition. I'll invite the press, family, friends, and right there, in front of everyone, I'll show who they really are. Isabel's eyes shone. You're going to expose them? I am, but I'll need your help to pretend I still believe their lies. I can do that? You're sure? They'll try to humiliate you even more in the coming days. Isabel lifted her chin. Let them try. I know you're on my side now. I always was, Isabel. I just took too long to realize it. That night at dinner, Leonard staged his performance. Ladies, I need to talk to you about Isabel. The 5 perked up, thinking he would fire her. Go on, Beatrice said. You were right about her, Leonard said. I called her references and found inconsistencies. Regina could barely hide her smile. What kind of inconsistencies? I'd rather not go into detail in front of Luke, Leonard said, glancing at his son. But you were right. And what will you do? Victoria asked, eager. I'm thinking of letting her go after the final party. The 5 practically burst with inner joy, but kept their faces composed. I think that's wise, Cassie said. It's best for Luke, Sylvia agreed, but Luke, who'd been listening, was desperate. Dad, you can't fire Izzy. Luke, adults know what's best. The boy burst into tears. No, not Izzy. Isabel, serving dinner, stepped closer. It's okay, sweetheart. Don't cry. Isabel, Leonard said, coldly now. Please keep your distance from my son. Her eyes filled with staged tears. Yes, sir. The 5 candidates traded triumphant looks. They thought they had finally won, never suspecting it was all a perfect act. Friday. Leonard pretended to leave for work, but slipped back into the house. He wanted to record the 5 talking when they thought they were alone. He hid in the study and turned on the camera system. On the screen, he saw them celebrating in the living room. Ladies, we did it, Beatrice said, raising a champagne flute. Finally, Victoria cheered. That disgrace is going to be fired. The plan worked perfectly, Regina said. The fake investigator, the forged documents, the rumors all over town. And best of all, Cassie added, Leonard thinks firing her was his own idea. Sylvia laughed. Men are so easy to manipulate. Leonard recorded it all but wanted more. He buzzed the intercom, disguising his voice. Excuse me, anyone there? Beatrice answered. Who is it? I'm a reporter from the local paper, Leonard said in a different tone. I'd like to talk about the housekeeper here. What about her? We heard she's being fired for misconduct. The 5 exchanged excited looks, another chance to spread lies. Come on in, Beatrice said. Leonard hung up the intercom and kept recording. When the reporter didn't show immediately, they started talking again. If a real journalist comes, Regina said, we'll say she tried to seduce Leonard. And that she manipulated the boy, Victoria added. We could say she stole small things from the house, Cassie suggested. Or that she mistreated Luke when his father wasn't around, Sylvia said. Beatrice smiled, vicious. We'll make up so much she'll never get a job with a wealthy family again. Leonard couldn't believe what he was hearing. Their cruelty had no limit. And after she's gone, Beatrice continued, we'll run a campaign to destroy her reputation completely. How? Regina asked. We'll flood social media saying she's a grifter, seduces wealthy employers by pretending to care about their kids. That will ruin her, Victoria said. Exactly, Beatrice replied, icy. She'll learn not to mess with people like us. Leonard saved all the recordings and smiled. Now I have enough ammunition to end you, he thought. That afternoon, he called a journalist friend. Carl, it's Leonard. I need a favor. Name it. Want to do a piece on class prejudice? I've got an unbelievable story. I'm listening. 5 socialites trying to destroy a humble employee, and I've got everything on tape. That'll make a great story. Let's set it for Sunday. I'm throwing a party, and you'll film everything. Leonard hung up, satisfied. The payback was being planned down to the last detail. Sunday. Leonard acted more and more convinced that Isabel was a problem. Over lunch, he put on another show. Ladies, a bit of news about Isabel. Tell us, Beatrice said, eager. I scheduled a party for the last day of the competition. I'll officially announce which of you I've chosen to marry. How exciting, Victoria said. And the housekeeper? Regina asked. I'll fire her in front of everyone. That way she sets an example for other employees who don't know their place. They barely hid their joy. Perfect, Cassie said. Justice at last. Agreed, Sylvia said. Luke, listening, ran from the table in tears. Leonard pretended not to care. He'll understand when he's older, he told the candidates. Later, Leonard found Luke crying in his room, with Isabel trying to console him. Why is Dad being like this, Izzy? I don't know, sweetheart. Sometimes adults do things we don't understand. Are you really leaving? Isabel looked at Leonard, who signaled for her to keep acting. "Maybe it's for the best, Luke. Your father knows what's best for you." "No, he doesn't. You're good for me. You need to obey your father." Luke hugged her, sobbing. "I don't want you to go." Leonard's heart ached, seeing his son's pain, but he knew it was necessary. Soon, everything would be resolved. That night, the 5 candidates made final preparations. "We did it," Beatrice said. "In 8 days that nobody will be out on the street." "And one of us will be the new Mrs. Harris," Victoria added. "Who do you think he'll choose?" Regina asked. "Doesn't matter," Cassie said. "What matters is we win." "Let's celebrate," Sylvia suggested. They opened a very expensive bottle from Leonard's wine cellar and toasted. "To our victory," Beatrice declared. "And the Maid's defeat," Victoria finished. They laughed loudly, not knowing they were being recorded. Watching from his office, Leonard shook his head. "Laugh while you can," he muttered. "In 8 days you'll find out who really won this war." Tuesday, the candidates decided to speed up the character assassination before the final party. Victoria called a friend at a high society gossip site. "Hey, Jana, it's Victoria. Got a hot story." "I'm listening." "There's a housekeeper trying to seduce her millionaire boss, Leonard Harris. You know the businessman?" "Of course. Tell me everything." "The housekeeper is manipulating his son to force a marriage. It's a scandal." "Can I run this?" "You can, but don't say it came from me." In a few hours, the story was online. Scheming housekeeper tries to seduce millionaire boss using orphaned son. It claimed Isabel Carter was manipulating Luke Harris for money, that she gave him expensive gifts and bad-mouthed the qualified candidates Leonard had chosen. Leonard saw the piece and pretended to be furious. "Beatrice, get in here." She hurried to the study. "What is it, Leonard? Did you see this article about Isabel saying she's trying to seduce me using Luke?" "How absurd," Beatrice said, feigning outrage. "Who would spread such a lie?" "I don't know, but now the whole town will know what kind of person she is." "Maybe you should fire her today," Beatrice suggested, "before she causes more trouble." "I won't wait for the party. I want everyone to see her humiliated publicly." Beatrice smiled inside. The plan was working, so she thought. But Leonard had already learned Victoria was friends with the journalist who published the piece. One more piece of evidence, he thought. On Sunday, you'll all pay. That afternoon, Isabel came home in tears. Neighbors had seen the article and treated her badly on the street. "Mr. Harris," she said, voice shaking, "people are talking about me." "What kind of things?" "That I'm a gold digger, that I'm trying to marry you for money." Leonard kept his face stern. "Do you feel able to keep working under these conditions?" I don't know. If you want to leave before the party." "No," Isabel said quickly. "I want to stay to the end. I want to prove I'm innocent." "Very well. But from now on, keep your distance from Luke. I don't want more problems." Isabel nodded, but inside she was anxious. Only 6 days remained until the party of truth. Luke, who had heard from the hallway, ran to his room crying. He couldn't understand why his father was being so cruel to the only person who truly cared about him. "Don't go, Izzy," he whispered in his room. "Please don't go." Thursday, the public pressure became unbearable. When Isabel arrived, a note was taped to the gate. "Gold digger, go away." On the walk to the house, 3 neighbors avoided her. One even crossed the street. Inside, the 5 candidates intensified their humiliations. "Look who's here," Victoria said as Isabel entered. "Our internet celebrity." "Everyone's talking about you," Regina added. "So famous," Cassie chimed in. "Must be nice being known as a grifter." Isabel kept quiet and worked, but at lunch she couldn't hold it together. She sat in the bathroom and cried for 15 minutes. She texted Leonard. "Mr. Harris, I can't take this anymore. Maybe it's better if I leave before the party. I don't want to cause more problems for you and Luke." Leonard read it and grew concerned. He hurried to the bathroom door. "Isabel, open up." "I'm fine, Mr. Harris." "Please open the door." She did. Her eyes were red from crying. "You can't quit now," Leonard said softly. "I can't take it anymore, Mr. Harris. People look at me like I'm a criminal." "Listen carefully. In 4 days, all this humiliation will be worth it." "How?" "Trust me. On Sunday, you'll get the justice you deserve." "And if it doesn't work?" "You've made it this far. Hold on 4 more days." Isabel took a breath. "All right, I trust you." "Good. Wash your face and keep working. On Sunday, they'll be the ones in trouble." That afternoon, Luke found Isabel in the garden. "Izzy, is it true you're leaving Sunday?" "I don't know, sweetheart. It depends on your father." "I don't want you to go." "I don't want to go either." "Then stay." "It's not that simple, Luke." He hugged her, crying. "If you go, I will too." "Don't say that. Your place is here with your dad." "My place is wherever you are." Tears filled Isabel's eyes. She didn't know how Leonard would resolve everything, but she hoped his plan would work. If it didn't, she would lose not only her job, but the boy she loved like a son. Friday, with 3 days left, Leonard finalized details. He called his journalist friend. "Carl, Sunday is the big day." "Can't wait, Leo. This'll be the story of the year. Arrive at 2. The party starts at 3. "And the evidence?" "I've got everything. Videos, audio, documents. These women will be fully exposed." "See you then." Leonard also called family. "Sis, party at my place Sunday." "Is that when you choose a new wife?" Claudia asked. "Yeah, and you're in for a real surprise." "What kind of surprise?" "You'll see Sunday. I promise it'll be worth it." All day the 5 candidates prepared as if it were the most important day of their lives. Each still believed she could be chosen. "Girls," Beatrice said, "on Sunday, one of us will become Mrs. Harris, and the maid will be humiliated in front of everyone." "Can't wait to see her face," Victoria added. Regina laughed, and the others joined. They had no idea Leonard had a very different surprise in store. That afternoon, he called Isabel for a final conversation. "Isabel, tomorrow is the dress rehearsal." "Dress rehearsal?" "I'll pretend to choose one of them. You'll have to act devastated." "Which one will you pretend to choose?" "Beatrice. She's their leader." "And Sunday?" "Sunday," Leonard said with a smile. "You'll get the greatest vindication of your life." "I'm scared, Mr. Harris." "Of what?" "What if the plan fails? What if people believe them?" "You saw the evidence videos, audio, confessions. They can't deny it." "And Luke? How will he react?" "He'll be happy, because in the end you won't be going anywhere. You'll stay here with us." For the first time that week, Isabel smiled. "Thank you for believing in me, Mr. Harris. Thank you for not giving up on us." That night, Leonard spoke with Luke. "Son, tomorrow we're having a party." "I know, and you're going to fire Izzy," Luke said, sad. "Luke, I need you to trust me." "What do you mean?" "Tomorrow things may happen that you won't understand, but in the end everything will be okay." "Izzy isn't going away?" Leonard hugged him. "Izzy isn't going anywhere." Luke's face brightened. "Promise." "I promise." And Leonard knew he would keep that promise, because on Sunday the truth would come out, and justice would finally be done. Sunday, 3 in the afternoon, the mansion was packed. Leonard had invited family, friends, neighbors, even some journalists. Everyone wanted to see who would be chosen. The 5 candidates arrived stunningly dressed, expensive makeup, confident smiles. They were sure one of them would leave as a fiancé. "Today's our day," Beatrice whispered to the others. "One of us is about to be rich," Victoria agreed. "And that housekeeper will leave humiliated," Regina added. Leonard watched from a distance, stomach in knots. Carl already had his camera ready. "Will it work?" Carl murmured. "I hope so," Leonard answered, nervous. Luke stayed in his room, refusing to come down. Isabel tried to coax him. "Sweetheart, your father said everything will be okay." "What if it's not? What if you leave?" "Then we'll always remember the love we shared, okay?" At 4 o'clock, Leonard asked for attention. "Everyone, thank you for coming. Today is a special day." The 5 lined up beside him, all smiles. "As you know, these women spent 30 days here. And now?" Leonard paused and looked straight into the cameras. "Before I announce my decision, I want to share some things I found out." Beatrice frowned. That wasn't the script. "I discovered that not everything that seems true is true." "How about going straight to the announcement?" Victoria said, nervous. "This is part of the announcement," Leonard said, switching on a big screen. "I discovered some people are willing to lie and even forge documents to get what they want." The 5 blanched as the first recording began. On screen, Beatrice's voice. "The fake investigator worked perfectly." Silence. Everyone turned to Beatrice, who flushed. "That's edited," she stammered. "Is it?" Leonard asked, playing the second clip. Now Victoria on the phone. "There's a housekeeper trying to seduce the millionaire boss." The crowd began to murmur. "I was protecting Leonard," Victoria tried. "Protecting?" Leonard said. "Watch this protection." The third video showed Regina. "We'll say she stole from the house." The fourth, Cassie. "We can claim she mistreated Luke." The fifth, Sylvia. "She'll learn not to mess with people like us." The party was in shock. People filmed with their phones, whispering, pointing. "Everyone!" Beatrice shouted, desperate. "You don't understand. We did it for their own good." "For my good?" Leonard asked, ice cold. "Forging documents was for my good?" "The maid was manipulating you," Regina tried. "What maid?" "This one." Leonard gestured, and Isabel appeared at the doorway, plain uniform, head held high. "Everyone, this is Isabel Carter. For 30 days, these 5 tried to destroy her life." All eyes turned to Isabel. "They invented a criminal past," Leonard said. "They claimed she mistreated my son. All lies." "But why would they do that?" someone asked. Leonard's smile was bitter. "Because my 8-year-old son preferred a humble housekeeper to them." "This is ridiculous," Beatrice exploded. "Children don't know what's best." "Don't they? Luke, come down here." Luke appeared, timid but determined. He went straight to Isabel. "Son, during these 30 days, who took the best care of you?" Luke looked at the 5, then at Isabel. "Izzy." "Why?" "Because she really loves me, she isn't fake, and she makes the best sandwiches in the world." A ripple of affectionate laughter. "And what do you want to happen?" Leonard asked. Luke looked up at his father, hopeful. "I want Izzy to stay forever, and I want those ladies to leave. They're mean." The whole crowd turned to the 5, who were dying of embarrassment. "Now you know the truth," Leonard said to the room. "But there's one more surprise." He turned back to the guests. "I also want you to know the truth about Isabel." He took a folder and began to read. "Isabel Carter, 25. Worked for the Sanders family for 2 years, caring for twins. The mother said she was the best employee they ever had. Worked for Dr. Charles Miller for a year. He offered her a raise to stay when she resigned. Cared for an elderly grandmother with the Oliver family. Their words. She treated the woman like her own." With each reference, the crowd grew more impressed. In every job, Leonard continued, Isabel was described as honest, caring, hard-working. Isabel was crying now, but with relief. So when my 8-year-old told me he preferred her to 5 wealthy women, I should have listened from day one. Children don't lie about love. Children feel who is real. The crowd applauded. Many were moved to tears. Isabel, Leonard said, turning to her, I want to apologize in front of everyone. You don't have to. I do. I doubted you. I believed lies instead of what I saw every day. You brought joy back to our home. You cared for my son when he needed it most. Thank you for believing in me in the end, she sobbed. No, thank you for not giving up on us. Beatrice, quiet till then, exploded. This is absurd. You're causing a scene over a housekeeper. The phrase echoed. Everyone glared. A housekeeper, Leonard repeated. Listen well. To these 5, Isabel is worth less because she cleans a house, not because she's poor, not because she has no degree, but because to them that makes her inferior. It's not about inferiority, Regina tried. It's about social compatibility. Social compatibility? Claudia, Leonard's sister, shouted. You humiliated an innocent person over that? You should be ashamed. Other guests chimed in angrily. The 5 were surrounded by justified outrage phones out, and they knew it would be online in minutes. We're leaving, Beatrice said, trying to keep her composure. Excellent idea, Leonard replied, and don't come back. Carl stepped forward with the camera. Ladies, any comment? No comment, Victoria said, covering her face. Out of the way, Regina snapped, shoving the lens. The 5 left to a chorus of shame. When the door closed, the whole party applauded. Leonard turned to Isabel and Luke. Now for the most important part. With the 5 gone, the atmosphere changed completely. People were buzzing, talking about what they'd witnessed. Leonard asked for attention again. When I organized this competition, I thought I knew what was best for my son. Fancy schools, money, status. He looked at Luke and Isabel. My son taught me something more important. Luke, Leonard said, kneeling, you spent 30 days with 5 candidates. Each offered to be your mother. It's time for you to choose. The room fell silent. Among those 5 women who just left, which do you choose to be your new mum? Luke looked at his father, eyes shining. None of them, Dad. None. They're fake. They don't really like me. Murmurs of approval. Then what do you want? Leonard asked. Luke looked at Isabel, who held her breath. I want Izzy to be my mum. The room erupted applause, cheers. But Luke, Leonard said, still acting. Izzy wasn't part of the competition. She's our employee. I don't care, Luke said firmly. She takes care of me. She loves me. She makes me laugh when I'm sad. If you marry her, she won't be an employee. She'll be my mum. Isabel was crying so hard she could barely breathe. Luke, she said, kneeling. Sweetheart, your dad might not want that. I do, Leonard interrupted. Isabel looked up, stunned. I do, Leonard repeated, louder. I choose you too, Isabel. What? Leonard took her hand in front of everyone. During these 30 days, I wasn't only looking for a good mother for Luke. I was looking for a good wife for me. And you, Isabel Carter, are the most honest, caring, genuine woman I've ever known. You could have heard a pin drop. You don't have money, but you have character. You don't have a degree, but you have wisdom. You don't have status, but you have love. And love is all a family needs. Mr. Harris, I'm just a housekeeper, Isabel whispered. You're so much more, he said, wiping her tears. You saved my son from sadness. You're the woman I fell in love with. The room was moved, many people crying. Isabel Carter, Leonard said, pulling a small box from his pocket. Will you marry me? The party held its breath. Isabel looked at Leonard, then at Luke, then at all those people. "I will," she said through her sobs. The room exploded applause, whistles. Luke leapt into her arms, shouting, "Now you're my mum!" Leonard slipped on the ring and kissed her as everyone cheered. "Long live the family," someone called. Carl filmed everything. "Story of the year," he murmured, and it was. After congratulations, Leonard spoke once more. "Everyone, I want to explain why I'm making this choice." The room quieted. 8 months ago, when my wife died, I thought I'd never love again. Luke fell into depression, stopped eating, playing, smiling. I didn't know what to do. He looked at Isabel with gratitude. Then this woman came into our home, simple, humble, with no pretension. In a week, Luke was smiling again. In a month, playing. In 2, he was happy. And I realized it wasn't just Luke who was changing. I was falling in love with the way she cared for my boy, her patience, her real kindness. I fell in love with her simplicity, her honesty, the way she never pretended to be what she wasn't. During those 30 days, 5 women tried to win him with luxury, trips, promises of status. But Isabel won me with something far more valuable: true love. Love for me and for my son, without interest or pretense. The crowd was deeply moved. "Isabel," Leonard said, turning to her, "I know our social differences may spark comments. I don't care. For the first time in 8 months, I feel whole. Do you really want to marry me?" "I do," Isabel said, still unsure but smiling. "Then call me Love now," he teased. The whole party laughed and applauded. Luke squeezed in. "Izzy, now you can help me with homework every day." "I can, my son," Isabel said, hugging him. "My son," she repeated, marveling. "I never thought I'd get to say that." "Now you can," Leonard said. "He's yours as much as mine." Claudia approached. "Isabel, I owe you an apology." "For what?" "When I heard the rumors, I believed them. I judged you without knowing you. Today I saw who you really are. My brother couldn't have chosen better. Welcome to the family." She hugged Isabel. Other relatives came to congratulate them. "You're an example," said Dr. Robert. "You showed love has no class." The party lasted late into the night, everyone celebrating love triumphing over malice. The following Monday, Carl's piece went live and went viral. Socialites invent lies to destroy housekeeper. The party video drew millions of views. Comments were brutal toward the 5. "What horrible women, money without character." "The housekeeper is worth more than the 5 combined." Beatrice woke to cancelled invitations and friends backing away. "Beatrice, it's Martha. I'm sorry, but I have to rescind your invite to my wedding." "Martha, please. I can't have someone who humiliates employees at my celebration." Victoria lost thousands of followers. Several brands cancelled contracts. "We can't be associated with prejudiced behavior," one email said. Regina faced questions at work. Clients sought other counsel. Cassie had patients cancel. "I don't want someone who mistreats children caring for my daughter." Sylvia saw projects put on hold. "We don't trust anyone who invents lies," a client said. The 5 who thought themselves powerful learned society didn't like what they'd done. Meanwhile, Isabel became a symbol of dignity. She received hundreds of supportive messages. Other housekeepers felt seen. "You showed we're worth as much as any madam," one wrote. "Thank you for not bowing your head," said another. Leonard was praised for choosing love over status. "Congrats on valuing character," people wrote. A week later, the 5 met at a cafe, all deflated. "This complicated our lives," Beatrice said. "Over a housekeeper," Victoria muttered. "It was our fault," Regina admitted. "We went too far." "Now everyone sees us as villains," Cassie lamented. "And they're not wrong," Sylvia concluded. "We were cruel." Meanwhile, at the mansion, life had changed completely. Isabel wasn't an employee anymore. She was a fiancée and a future mother. "I can't believe this is real," she told Leonard in the garden. "It's real, and it'll get even better," he said, smiling. "Wait and see what our life will be." 3 months later, on a sunny Saturday morning, the same mansion hosted a simple, heartfelt wedding. Isabel looked beautiful in a plain white dress, no excessive luxury, just something that reflected who she was. Leonard waited at a makeshift altar in the garden, with Luke at his side as ring-bearer. "Mom," Luke said, tugging her dress, "you look beautiful." "Thank you, my son," Isabel replied, still emotional calling him that. The ceremony was intimate, only real family and friends. None of the pomp Leonard used to throw. "Leonard," the officiant asked, "do you take Isabel to be your wife?" "I do," he said, eyes locked on hers. "Forever." "Isabel, do you take Leonard to be your husband?" "I do," she said, full-hearted. "And you, Luke?" the officiant asked with a smile. "Do you accept Isabel as your mother?" "I do, I do, I do," Luke shouted, making everyone laugh. "Then I pronounce you husband, wife, and son." The small crowd applauded. Leonard kissed Isabel as Luke hugged them both. "Now we're a real family," the boy said. "We always were," Isabel replied, "from the first day." 6 months later, another joy. Isabel was expecting. "Leonard," she said, nervous, "you're going to be a dad again." Leonard froze, then whooped with joy, lifting her up. "Seriously?" "Seriously," she laughed. Luke, eavesdropping, sprinted in. "I'm getting a little brother." When their daughter, Helena, was born, Luke didn't want to leave her cradle. "She's so tiny," he said, amazed. "You were like that too," Isabel told him. "Mum, thank you for coming to our family." "Thank you for having me, my son." Leonard watched, moved. His family was complete. 2 years later, they were in the garden on a Sunday afternoon. Luke played with toddling Helena, while Leonard and Isabel looked on, happy. "Izzy," Leonard asked, "do you regret anything?" "What?" "Taking this job, going through all of that." Isabel looked at the house, at the children playing. "Never," she said. "If I hadn't gone through it, I wouldn't have this family. It was worth all the pain." Leonard kissed her under the late-day sun. "I love you, Isabel Harris." "I love you too, my husband." And they lived happily, proving that true love doesn't recognize class differences. Love born from a pure heart is stronger than any prejudice. When we choose to love for real, where we came from doesn't matter, only where we're going together. The end. This is Mr. Hope. Thank you for watching. Kindly comment and like.